The 6.0 magnitude earthquake that struck at midnight in eastern Afghanistan was devastating due to its shallow depth, shaking buildings from Kabul to Pakistan's capital Islamabad, leveling villages in Kunar and Nangarhar provinces, triggering landslides in mountainous terrain, and killing more than 800 people and injuring more than 2,500. Because the earthquake struck at a depth of only 8 kilometers, its impact was strong on the surface. The U.S. Geological Survey reported that the epicenter was 27 kilometers east of Jalalabad, near the border with Pakistan. The tremor was followed by aftershocks throughout the night and into the early morning hours, which were felt even in the capital Kabul, 160 kilometers away. Kunar province has been one of the hardest hit by the earthquake. Already battling floods and landslides, the mountainous region was rendered almost inaccessible after the powerful tremor. Roads collapsed, landslides in the valleys blocked roads and hampered the progress of rescue teams, racing against time for people trapped under rubble. Taliban officials announced that some villages were completely destroyed. Locals reported that landslides had closed off areas close to the epicenter, and that rescue operations were therefore moving slowly. Air transportation remained the only solution for rescue efforts. Helicopters landed in areas that had become impassable through narrow passageways to evacuate the injured and try to reach the trapped. However, the steep and dangerous nature of the region caused the operations to be disrupted. Medical workers at the Jalalabad Central Hospital described the situation as a major crisis. Hundreds of wounded were transported to the hospital, including many women and children. Eyewitnesses reported that ambulances were constantly bringing in patients, while at the same time, hundreds of bodies were being transported to morgues. Health officials at the Asadabad Provincial Hospital in Kunar said that new patients were arriving every few minutes and that capacity had already been exceeded. In its official statement, the Taliban Interior Ministry announced that more than 800 people were killed and around 2,500 wounded. While it was emphasized that the death toll could rise, it was reported that there were many people trapped under the rubble, especially in remote mountain villages. Government officials announced that some villages were completely destroyed, and not a single house was left standing. The earthquake shook not only Afghanistan, but also neighboring countries. The tremor was felt in many cities, including Pakistan's capital Islamabad, and people took to the streets in panic at midnight. With the first light of the day after the earthquake, the extent of the devastation became clearer. Rescue teams are searching for those trapped under heavily damaged houses and villages. But with roads largely blocked, helicopters of limited use, and mountainous terrain making access virtually impossible, many areas remain unreachable. This tremor in eastern Afghanistan signals a major humanitarian crisis, not only with the current loss of life, but also with thousands of people in the region now homeless and living conditions becoming even more difficult. Access to shelter, food, and health care could become critical, especially as the winter months approach. To understand why the 6.0 magnitude earthquake in eastern Afghanistan was so devastating, we need to look not only at the magnitude of the tremor, but also at the conditions under which it occurred. The earthquake occurred at a very shallow depth of only 8 kilometers, which caused the energy to reflect directly on the surface. While tremors that normally occur at deeper depths lose some energy before reaching the surface, such shallow earthquakes directly shook buildings, roads, and the ground with great intensity. This is why villages around the epicenter were leveled, and people in Kabul, and even in the Pakistani capital Islamabad, felt the shaking intensely. The effects of the earthquake were exacerbated by Afghanistan's rugged and mountainous terrain, especially in provinces like Kunar and Nangarhar in the eastern regions. High mountains and narrow valleys made even daily life difficult, turning them into almost inaccessible areas after such a disaster. The soil had already loosened due to heavy rainfall and floods in recent days. Landslides triggered by the intensity of the earthquake blocked roads and completely isolated villages from the outside world. Afghanistan is also historically known as one of the world's most seismically fragile regions. The country lies on the collision line of the Eurasian and Indian tectonic plates and has been subject to major tremors for centuries. The 1998 earthquake in the north, which killed more than 4,000 people, is still remembered. In 2002, tremors in the Hindu Kush region killed thousands of people, and in 2015, an earthquake of similar magnitude devastated the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan. This historical chain reveals how Afghanistan is at high risk, and how the people face the same suffering with every earthquake. Another reason why earthquakes are so destructive in Afghanistan is the weakness of the structures. Especially in rural areas, most of the houses are built of mud brick or low-quality materials. In these villages, where modern construction techniques are not applied, and there are no earthquake regulations, even a small tremor can cause serious damage. This is why an earthquake of magnitude 6.0, while causing only fear and panic in developed countries, has destroyed hundreds of villages and killed thousands of people in Afghanistan. The living conditions of the people in the region are already extremely difficult in every sense. Years of war and political instability have plunged the country into deep poverty. Access to health care is limited, roads are largely in disrepair, and rural people struggle to meet even the most basic needs. Many families live in makeshift houses in disaster-prone villages at the foot of mountains. Floods, droughts, and harsh winters triggered by climate change make life more difficult for these people every year. A major disaster such as an earthquake has completely upset their already fragile living arrangements. We are all deeply saddened that the people of Afghanistan, who have been living a very difficult life with war, poverty, and natural disasters for years, have been shaken by such a major earthquake disaster. We wish mercy to those who lost their lives, a speedy recovery to those who were injured, and we hope that those trapped under the rubble will be rescued as soon as possible. We continue to bring you the natural disasters around the world in an accurate and impartial way on this channel. You can subscribe to our channel to learn about such important developments and support us in bringing them to more people. And you can be informed about our new posts by turning on notifications.